brakes are brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
When the manufacturer started putting 4-speed transmissions in the vehicles back in the 60s and Hurst started making a shifter, this is one of the first shifters that we had. And you can see the curve, that had to go around the bench seat. The problem is, look how much leverage you can get with this piece. I can pick up that entire crate of drive shaft. Well, the drivers today are using a very short shifter to reduce the amount of leverage. Watch. I can't pick it up. Okay, here's a conventional transmission with a conventional shifter. It goes on like that. Now, here's the short one. Uh-oh, we got a problem. How do we get from there down here to grip the shifter? Because the driver can't lean out of the car like that. So here's what they've done. A bracket that bolts on the transmission that, number one, moves it back, also up. There the shifter goes. The driver just off the steering wheel right to the shifter. But, you know, here's something new that I'm not familiar with. A new kind of shifter. Let's go check this out. Okay, this is the Hurst shifter. You see all the moving parts. This is a new long shifter with the rails, and you can see just how few moving parts there is in this shifter. Here's how the shifter works. The ball goes down in the slot. You want to select a gear, you just like that. Okay, here we have it, the new long shifter, the short shifter. That's third gear, fourth gear. Man, does that feel good. I might try my hand driving again.
I was going to say, you look right at home there shifting those gears, Benny, like you were going to make race noises and pretend like you were back in the car again.
How you like that short, long shifter, huh?
Yeah.
Jeff Bodine and Benny, number one. All right.
I'll tell you what,
That's
Bodine
pretty high country in Chemung, New York.
Yeah. Bodine is having a good race. He's in 10th position. He started in 30th, so he is doing very well out there. We will continue to look back on Rusty Wallace from Mark Martin's car now. We're with Jeremy Mayfield. Here are the top 15. Bill Elliott, as you can see, has dropped back to 15th position after starting this race from outside row number 1. Here's 16 through 30 now. You can see that Joe Nemechek and Lake Speed have lost a lap.
Well, Lake Speed was just in the pits a few laps ago, Bob, so that's how he went his lap down. Nemechek got lapped on the racetrack. We'll see pit stops coming up here before too long.
And finally, the remainder of the field, notice that Ron Fellows in 34th position is out of the race. Ron, of course, the SCCA Trans Am driver who won here at Watkins Glen yesterday. His Winston Cup race did not last very long. And Butch Leitzinger has picked up another position, going around Dale Jarrett for 12th spot.
And Jeff Gordon just moved into 3rd position. He passed down here in turn 1. He got around Wally Valentine, guys.
Okay. We understand that Jarrett is having a brake problem on the Texaco Havoline Ford.
And John is there to update us.
I was just talking to Larry McReynolds a couple of laps ago. He said, yeah, the brakes are fading on the 28 car, and so Dale is having to really baby that car around the track, trying to save the brakes, so he'll have enough to finish this race. And we should have pit stops coming up between laps 55 and lap 60, and some of the teams will stretch it up to about lap 58, 59. That means they could go with just one more stop. That would be their last stop of the day.
So we will be seeing pit stops within the next 5 laps. We are 50 laps in, 40 to go in this 90-lap event. There's Dale Jarrett running in 13th position.
But Darrell Waltrip is coming up on him. Darrell is running in the 14th position. Darrell having a good run here today in the Western Auto Chevrolet. He started back in the 27th position. So he's picked off about half of those that started in front of him, about to get another one.
Darrell Waltrip's best finish here at Watkins Glen, a second in 1986. John Kernan has more on Darrell Waltrip.
Well, on Friday during qualifying, Darrell's transmission broke, and he had to go through second-round qualifying. This was a car that they built last year, and they only run it here at Watkins Glen. It was built especially for this racetrack, and now he gets around Dale Jarrett as DW comes down and enters turn number 1. I was talking to Pete Wright on the crew this morning, and Pete said the number 1 thing is track position out here. You might see us make some 2-tire stops on the day. And Ted Musgrave is now in for service. We've had a report that Musgrave has had an ignition problem, a little bit of a skip in the motor. They've already done the right stir on the left side, and look at that major chassis adjustment for Musgrave in the left rear of that car. He is first among the teams coming in pit.
And he was in 11th position, and remember, he is also among the top 5 in points and certainly within shot of the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship this year. And Musgrave getting back out on the racetrack. There you can see he has lost a lap while he was in the pits.
Yep. And when I said not to show you to make a pit stop here and not lose a lap, a green flag pit stop, but you got to be running up with the leaders in order to do that, and Ted was about half a lap behind.
There are some lap cars coming through, and now we get back to third place, Jeff Gordon. And Jerry Punch has an update on Jeff.
Well, Benny Parsons mentioned a few moments ago that possibly Ray Evernham may have radioed his young driver and said, hey, listen, the guys behind you in points, the 3-car and the 4-car, are both having trouble. And Benny, that's exactly what Ray Evernham did a few minutes ago. He radioed Jeff Gordon, said, hey, the 3 and the 4 are both having trouble. You know what that means? And Jeff very quietly said, enough said. Ray came back and said, you know, we don't need any problems, so don't expect to see Gordon hustle the car right now. They're going to come in at around lap 56 to 58 for what should be their final scheduled pit stop. And then with 10 to go, watch the youngster who grew up in Indiana begin to hustle that DuPont Chevy.
But he has gotten around this car, the 22 of Wally Dallenbach, for position. Spots the last few laps, right behind Wally Dallenbach. Chevy, driven by Ford, driven by Ricky Rudd.
And right behind him is Terry Lamont, the Kellogg Chevrolet, as they head down into turn 1 in front of Bill Weber.
And that's been a real good battle, guys, the last several laps. Gordon, Rudd, Dallenbach in there, Lamont trying to close it up. They've been jockeying for position the last couple of times. And a few laps ago, Jeff got around Wally and into third.
Terry Lamont has won twice on a road course, both of them at Riverside. Looking for the 30 car of Michael Waltrip. There he is in the 7th spot.
Not too far behind those front runners. Having a good run here today. There comes Bobby Labonte. He's the next car, the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. He is in the 8th position. So Bobby having a good solid run here. Hasn't been a threat up front. I talked to Jimmy Maycar, the crew chief, this morning, and he said, I think we're good. He said, I don't think we're a threat to win this race, but he said, I think we're definitely a good top 10 contender, and he was right on.
And John Andretti seems to have put his program back together. He had a good early part of the season, was in the top 10 of points for a while, and then has kind of fallen off. But last week had a good run at Indianapolis, finishing just outside the top 10. And there is Jeff Bodine, one of the hometown favorites, running in 10th.
Looked like one of Jeff Bodine's brake hoses in the rear is falling down, dragging the racetrack. And we saw Dale Earnhardt earlier when he hit the brakes, those rotors would turn cherry red. That's why they're on all those brake hoses to the front and rear brakes, trying to keep them cool as possible, because just like Dale Jarrett knows right now, they will overheat in a rush. And Robert Presley got some problems after a great run.
Yep, he was 15th, but the car is very slow off of turn number 5. Back with more from Watkins Glen International, and the caution flag is out for the first time. We'll be right back. ESPN Speed World today, bringing you live coverage of the Bud at the Glen from Watkins Glen, and it's being brought to you by Black & Decker, the source of powerful gift ideas. By McDonald's, have you had your break today? And by Firestone, America's tire since 1900. Fewest cautions here at the Glen 3 in 1992. We have just had our first. Moments ago here, we take a look from Rusty's in-car camera.
They're behind the caution car, and he pulls up beside of Mark Martin and gives him a thumbs up.
How about that?
Yeah.
As if to say, this is fun. Let's keep this up and let me ahead of you with about a lap to go, and I'll win the race.
Yeah. That's a couple of Ford guys having fun for the first time. Quite a while.
We are under caution, and these cars that are currently, near the inner loop, I guess, will be coming around to pit.
Yeah, they'll be coming into the pits because pit stops were coming up very quickly. We noticed that Ted Musgrave did make the green flag pit stop. He went a lap down, but having a buddy, a teammate out on the racetrack, Mark Martin is his teammate. Mark let him go back by before they got to the caution, so Ted Musgrave got back in the lead lap.
How about that? 22 cars in the lead lap, and Musgrave right now being shown in the 22nd
Now,
spot.
the driver who had made a pit stop that was hurt most by this was Lake Speed. He had made a green flag pit stop. He was running in the lead lap, but he went a lap down. Unfortunately, he was not up there or quick enough or up there near enough to the leaders to be able to get back in the lead lap, and here come the leaders down pit road.
Here they come. Everybody on the lead lap will be coming in for service. 35 miles an hour, very slow down this narrow pit road where the pits are kind of tight. There you see Sterling Marlin flanking off and stopping, and the crew going to work on it. Martin and Wallace are pitted on down for turn number 1, and John Kernan is there.
Wally Dolan back in for a 4-tire change. Right side's going on first. Oh, and the tire hits the jacket. Starts to drop, but it didn't hurt. Now they're going around the other side. Jerry punches in Mark Martin's pit. And they have already changed right side tires. They're not going to change the outside or left side tires. And he's building up again. A great pit stop by the Valvoline crew as they will beat Rusty Wallace's crew down pit road. Gordon to the third car, then Marlin and Rudd. And here is Michael Waltrip. Now, let's go back up to John Kernan. Dale Jarrett and Ricky Craven finally leave. Jarrett was in. They made sure they got every single drop of gasoline in that car. 34 laps to go. And I was talking with Bill Davis, who owns the car. Wally Dallenbach is in. As Earnhardt now comes in down into his pit. But he says it will be extremely close on fuel. Let's go down to Dale Earnhardt's pit and Jerry Punch. And they have not jacked the car up to put anything under the car or work on the transmission. Dale Earnhardt said, hey, don't worry about the shifter. Don't worry about the transmission. Leave it in third gear. Let's just ride and get the best finish we can. And he was very, very slow to leave pit road. Hey, but guys, the concern down here at this end of pit road among the Martin team is the fact that possibly it is going to be very, very close on fuel.
He was slow coming in, Ned, and he's even slower going out because in third gear you got to take it really easy building up speed. He was very slow coming out. There he is in turn number 2 as the rest of the field is behind the pace car under caution for the first time today here at Watkins Glen with 56 of the 90 laps completed.